Hello everyone. In this lesson, we will begin building our Contact Us page. First, we will learn how to embed an interactive Google map onto our page, and we will also learn how to add a contact form to the page so visitors can fill out a few fields, their name, their email address, and the message they want to send us, so that way they can send us an email without knowing our email address. Without further ado, let's jump into the action and try to add a Google map to our page. Alright, so here's the home page of my website, and if I use the navigation menu to go to our Contact Us page, we see that at the moment it only has one sentence of filler or placeholder content. So let's make our first goal to remove this placeholder text and instead add an interactive Google map so that way visitors of our website can see where our hypothetical business is located, and they will be only one click away from getting Google Map directions from their location to our business's location. Okay, so if I want to edit this Contact Us page, the first step is to just look up in the top black admin bar, and we can use this Edit Page link. From this screen, let's begin editing this content. So I will delete this and instead say, our main corporate office is located in downtown New York City. And then maybe right below that sentence, we will include an interactive Google map here. Now, if we want a Google map, our next step is to open a new tab in our web browser or a new window in our web browser. So in this new window, perform a Google search for Google Maps. We are looking for maps.google.com. So when you find that, go ahead and click on it. And from this screen, we can use this top left search field to search for any address we can think of. So if you have a business office, go ahead and type in the address for that office here. In my case, just as an example, I will type in Times Square, New York City. Alright, and now if your business already shows up as one of these circle locations, you can just click on it, or you can literally just click anywhere on the map. So for example, if I click right here, it created this little marker, and now down here towards the bottom center of the screen, if I click on this location, that updates this left-hand panel of the screen, and now what we're looking for is this button right here that reads Share. So go ahead and click on the share icon, and then within this pop-up content, click on Embed Map. Perfect. This is what we are looking for. So you'll notice that in this field, Google is giving us a bit of code. Now with this code highlighted, just go ahead and copy it to your clipboard. And now jump back to the browser tab or browser window where you have WordPress open. So here I am back in my WordPress admin area, and I'm editing the Contact Us page. And now it's just as simple as pasting in that code. So remember, we wanted to add the Google map right about here. So with my cursor there, that looks good. But let's be sure to switch from visual mode into text mode because we want to paste in code. So click on text here. And now we can get rid of this non-breaking space character. And now simply just paste in your clipboard. It's not necessary, but just to stay organized, why don't we add a space or a new line in between our sentence and the Google code. Okay, and now we can go ahead and switch back to the visual mode instead of the text mode. And there we see our interactive Google map. So let's go ahead and click this blue update button in the right-hand sidebar. Okay, and we see this message, page was successfully updated, and we can use this view page link to check out the front end of our website. And there it is. Perfect. So now visitors of our website can click and drag or zoom in and out on this map. And they can also click this directions button here, and they're just one click away from getting step-by-step Google directions to our office. All right, so we successfully added a Google map to our page. Let's change gears now, and our next goal for our Contact Us page is to add a form down here that visitors can fill out to send us a message. So there will be fields for them to enter their name, their email address, and then a message that they want to send us. And then they can click a submit button, and WordPress will automatically take their message and send it to us via email. So that way our email address stays relatively private, and it's not just up on the web for all spam robots to gather. Now, out of the box, by default, WordPress does not have the ability to create a contact form. However, we know that we can leverage the power of plugins. So let's jump back to our WordPress admin dashboard area. And in the left-hand menu, click on Plugins. We are going to search for and install a new plugin that will allow us to create a contact form. So we are going to need to use the Add New Plugin link. So click on Add New. And from this screen, let's use this top right search field and search for Contact Form 7. Okay, and the first result is indeed Contact Form 7. This is a great plugin, and you can see that I'm not alone in thinking that. It has over 1 million active installs and an average rating of 4.5 stars. This plugin has been around for years. It's an awesome solution, so let's go ahead and click the Install Now button. Once that's complete, we can then click Activate. And now, with that plugin activated, if we look in our left-hand sidebar, we will see a new option named Contact. Let's go ahead and click on Contact. And from this screen, I want to draw your attention to this area. This screen will show us all of the different contact forms we have. Currently, we just have the one form that the plugin creates for us automatically by default. And for our website and our purposes, I think this is the only form that we will need. Now, in a few minutes, we will indeed learn how to customize and edit the form, but for now, to get started, let's just learn how to add the form to our Contact Us page. So right here, we will see something called a shortcode. A shortcode is a piece of code that you can copy and paste into the main content area field for a page or a post. So check this out. Let's go ahead and select and copy this shortcode right here. So select it and then click Copy. And with that in my clipboard, now let's jump over to my Contact Us page. So in the left-hand sidebar, let's click on Pages. We want to work on the Contact Us page, so let's click that. Okay, and remember, we want to add the contact form right below this Google map. So I will just click right about here to place my cursor after the map and then push Enter to drop down to a new line. And now let's just paste in our clipboard, and there's that shortcode. Now this might just look like code to you and I, but WordPress will interpret this and know what to do with it. So check this out. If we go ahead and click the blue Update button in the right-hand corner, and we see page successfully updated, and if we use this link to preview the front end of our website, below the Google map is indeed a contact form. And now visitors of our website can simply fill out these fields. So for your name, they might say John Doe. For their email address, they might say johndoe@johndoe.gov. For the subject line, they might say, "Hello, I'd like to work with you." And then they just enter a brief message. "Hello, can I hire you? Lorem ipsum, hello world." And finally, they click the send button, and then WordPress behind the scenes will take this information that they entered and send it to us, the owner of the website, in an email. So I clicked the send button, and now we see, "Thank you for your message, it has been sent." And you'll have to take my word for it, but my smartphone just dinged because I received an email with the data that we just filled out. Okay, so we successfully added a contact form to the Contact Us page. Now, before we bring this lesson to a close, let's learn how to customize or edit this form. So, for example, instead of just these fields, imagine we want to add a new field, and imagine its name or label reads, "What are you interested in?" And then instead of a text field that the user can type in, imagine it's a drop-down menu and they can choose between photography, advertising, or graphic design. Okay, so let's go and set that up and add that new field right now. So let's jump back to our admin dashboard, and in the sidebar, let's click on the contact item. Again, at this moment, we only have the one form, so let's go ahead and click on it to edit it. All right, and this is a brand new screen that we have never seen before, so let's take a moment to analyze what we are looking at. So up here, we see the short code that we already copied and pasted to add the form to our page. And then moving down, here is the area where we can actually customize and edit the form. So this code that we see here is our current form. I know code can be scary and intimidating, but let's just go over this line by line, because I don't think it's as scary as you think it is. So within this first chunk of code, you can ignore the words label, and really all we see is text that says your name, and the field is required, so users have to fill this out. They can't leave it blank. And then we see another bit of code here. So the word text here tells WordPress and the web browser to create a text input field where users can type, and then your name is the name of that field. Let's look at the next chunk of code. So here we see your email, and it's required. And then the word email right here is telling the plugin and WordPress and the web browser that the user must enter a valid email address in this field. And then your email is the name of that field. Okay, and then obviously that same pattern is also applied for the subject field and the your message field. So hopefully you can agree with me that this code is not rocket science, but let's get back to the task at hand. So remember, we want to create a brand new field titled "What are you interested in?" And the field will be a drop-down menu where visitors have to choose between advertising, photography, or graphic design. Okay, so if we want to add that new field, the first step is to place our cursor, so click right where we want to add it. So let's say that I want to add it right after this subject field and right before the your message field. So I will just click here to place my cursor right there. And now I can click any one of these buttons to insert a certain type of field. So I can click drop-down menu. And from this pop-up screen, we are interested in this options field. So you can see that it reads one option per line. So we want them to be able to choose between photography, advertising, or graphic design. But you get the idea. You just type out the available options that you want your visitors to be able to choose from, one per line, and that's it. So with those in place, now we can click this blue Insert Tag button down here. And the plugin just added this new line of code for us. Now with this new line of code in place, why don't we click this Save button in the top right corner and see what our updated contact form looks like on the front end of our website. So let me jump to the Contact Us page. And if I scroll down a bit, here we see that drop-down menu. And if I click on it, I can choose between the three options. Now I do notice a problem though. This field doesn't have a label. Remember, we wanted it to read, "What are you interested in?" So let's add that label right now. Let's jump back into our admin dashboard. And now our goal is to add label text for this new field that we created. We are going to need to write a little tiny bit of code, but I don't think it's going to be scary. So check this out. Right above this new line that we created, let's add a new line. So place your cursor at the beginning of this line and then push enter to create a new line, and then just jump up to that new line and enter the less than symbol, and then type label, and then type the greater than symbol. And now we can type whatever we want our label to be. So in our case, let's make it read, "What are you interested in?" Okay, and we have one last step. Now right below this new field line, so drop down to a new line. Now I want you to close out the label tag. So type in the less than symbol, and then type a /. All right, and then type label, and then type a greater than symbol. And that's it. Congratulations. You just wrote a bit of HTML code. Now from this point, let's go ahead and save the page again. So towards the right-hand corner, click Save. And now if I jump back to my front-facing website on the contact page and refresh, and scroll down a bit, here's our field, and now we see, "What are you interested in?" So now visitors will understand what we are asking them to fill out. Okay, so we successfully added a field to the front end of this form that visitors fill out. But we do have one final step if we want to actually see their answer in the email that gets sent to us. So check this out. If we jump back to our admin dashboard, all right, and from this edit contact form screen, we've previously been working in this area, and up here we can see a few tabs to choose from. So we've been working within the form screen, but now we need to click on the mail screen. So go ahead and click mail right here. This screen will let us customize all of the details about the email that gets sent to us as the owner of the website. So you can change the to field, the from field, the subject line. You get the idea. In this case, what I want to customize is the actual message or the body of the email. So if I scroll down a bit, here we can see message body. And this is the actual meat and potatoes. This is the body of the email that will be sent to us. Now, if you think back to a few moments ago when we were working with the code, these bits of code here will probably seem familiar. Remember that field where the user types in their name? Well, whatever the user types in is stored in a variable named your-name. And the same thing with their email. It's stored in a variable your-email. So we will receive an email that says from : and then the person's name, subject : and then whatever the user typed in as their subject. So back to the task at hand, we want to make sure that this email that gets sent to us includes the field where we ask the user what they are interested in. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's create a new line right about here and say interested in, and then I need to type out the variable name for that new field that we created. Now, I don't expect you to have superhuman memory, so to find out the name of that field, let's just scroll up. And currently we are in the Mail tab, but let's jump back to the Form tab. And here's that drop-down field that we created. Currently, it looks like it has a name or variable name of menu-466. Now, the Contact plugin and WordPress automatically generated that name for us, and it indeed seems like a name that a robot came up with. It's not a very human-friendly name, so we are free to change that right now if we want to. So let's delete that menu-466, and instead let's type in interested-in. Now, I just made that up. I invented this name. You could type out any name that you want here. Just make sure that you don't have spaces in your name. Use dashes instead of spaces. And now, if we jump back to the Mail tab, so click on Mail right here. If I scroll down a bit, back in this message body field, remember we added interested in : and now we just type out the variable name of that field. So let's begin with a pair of brackets, square brackets. If you're not sure how to get these characters, I'll tell you right now. So on your keyboard, directly to the right of the P key, that's the open square bracket. And then to the right of that key is the closing square bracket. Now in between those brackets, let's just type the variable name. Now you might have named it something different, but in my case, remember I named that field interested-in. All right, so this code looks good to me. Now let's scroll down to the very bottom of this page and click on Save. And now let's jump back over to the front end of our website and refresh on the Contact Us page. And if I scroll down, let me fill out this form, and then I will show you the email in my inbox to prove that everything's working as we had hoped for. All right, let's go ahead and click Send. Thank you for your message. It was sent. And just to prove that things are working as we had hoped for, here is that generated email from my inbox. And that's actually going to bring this lesson to a close. In our next lesson, we will learn how to make a few improvements to the contact form. It should be a lot of fun. By the end of that lesson, we will have a premium 100% bulletproof contact form. Let's keep rolling, and I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, everyone. In this lesson, we will finish up the Contact Us page by making two big improvements to the contact form. First, we will learn how to save the submissions from the contact form into the WordPress database, so that way we can always view a copy of all visitor submissions from within our admin dashboard instead of having to rely solely on the emails that get automatically sent to us. And after that, we will finish up the lesson by learning how to protect our contact form from spam bots. Without further ado, let's start with our first goal. Let's learn how to save the contact form submissions into the WordPress database. Okay, so here I am on the home page of my website. And if I use the navigation menu to jump to the Contact Us page, currently, as of this moment, if a visitor fills out this contact form and hits send, behind the scenes, WordPress will send an email to the owner of this website with all of the data that the visitor input. And that can be great. We all know that email is very convenient, but email is not perfect, right? Sometimes you might accidentally delete an email, or your inbox might become super crowded, and it can become difficult to stay organized. So our goal right now is to customize this contact form so that in addition to sending us an email, it also saves the user's data into the WordPress database. So that way, instead of relying 100% on our email, we can always just jump into the admin dashboard and see a convenient, organized list of all contact form submissions. Now, out of the box, WordPress and the Contact Form 7 plugin do not offer that functionality. But, surprise, surprise, plugins can save the day. So let's go and install a plugin that will give us the exact behavior that we want. So let's jump over to our admin dashboard. From the sidebar, let's click on Plugins. We want to search for and install a new plugin. So up here, click on the Add New button. Let's use this top right search field, and I can tell you that the plugin we are looking for that will allow us to save contact form submissions into the database, the best plugin to get that job done is named Flamingo. So let's search for Flamingo. Here it is, the first result. It has over 100,000 active installs and a solid 4.5 star rating. So let's go ahead and click the Install Now button. Once that completes, then click Activate. And with that new plugin activated, if we look in our left-hand sidebar, we see a new item named Flamingo. Go ahead and click on Flamingo. Now, in my opinion, this screen is not very useful. So this Flamingo address book screen lives up to its name, and it simply shows you a list with people's name and email address, and these are all of the people that have either left a comment on our blog posts or have filled out our contact form. Again, I don't find this screen to be particularly useful. The real power of Flamingo is located on another screen. So in the left-hand sidebar, under the main Flamingo menu, in addition to address book, we also see a link named Inbound Messages. And that screen is what makes Flamingo so powerful. So go ahead and click on Inbound Messages. And from this screen, at the moment, we see no items found. And that's because we haven't had any contact form submissions take place since we just installed this Flamingo plugin. So let's give the Flamingo plugin a test. Let's jump over to the front end of our website and submit a test or sample contact form submission. So I will jump to the Contact Us page, scroll down, let me fill this form out. Click Send. Thank you for your message, it has been sent. But more importantly, if we jump back to the admin dashboard, and you can either refresh this screen or to get to this screen in the first place, under the Flamingo sidebar menu, click on Inbound Messages. And here we see that contact form submission that we just created. Now behind the scenes, I did just receive an email with this information, but like we mentioned earlier, email isn't always the ideal solution. So now we have another copy of that contact form submission right here. So I can go ahead and click on the subject line to view the full form submission. And now we get all of the info. So not only their name and email, but we can see what they're interested in. So graphic design, and we can see their body message. The sky is blue today. Perfect. And really, that's all there is to the Flamingo plugin. From this moment forward, you will now always have a universal, convenient location to read and review all of your contact form submissions. Okay, so we just completed our first goal for this lesson. Now let's change gears and work on protecting our contact form from spam bots. Let me jump back to the front end of my website so I can let you know what I'm talking about. So I'm sure you've seen this before. You're on a website and you're trying to fill out a form, and a lot of the fields look normal, but then you'll see a field where it asks you to solve a riddle or to type in a few words that look really distorted and twisted up and hard to read. The reason websites make you fill out weird fields like that is to prove that you're not a robot, to prove that you're not a spam bot, to prove that you're just an innocent human being trying to legitimately use the form. Those types of fields that present a riddle or some type of question are often referred to as a CAPTCHA. So our goal right now is to add a CAPTCHA field to our contact form so that only humans and not spam bots will be successful when they try to submit or send this contact form. Now, luckily for us, the Contact Form 7 plugin that we are using makes it very easy to implement a CAPTCHA field. So check this out. Back in our admin dashboard, in the left-hand sidebar, hover over the Contact option, and within the Contact menu that appears, click on Integration. Okay, so here we see something called ReCAPTCHA. ReCAPTCHA is one of the best spam bot protection CAPTCHA services in the world. It's a free service created by Google, and all we need to do is go to the Google ReCAPTCHA website and sign up for a free account. Actually, we don't really need to sign up for anything because you can just log in with your existing Google or Gmail account, and then you will be just one click away from using ReCAPTCHA. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Open a new tab in your web browser or a new window in your web browser and go to google.com, and then I want you to search for Google ReCAPTCHA. So Google ReCAPTCHA. It should be the first or second result. Basically, we're just looking for google.com/ReCAPTCHA. So click on any link that begins with that URL. And then we're going to click on this button towards the top right that reads Get ReCAPTCHA. Now it's important to note that you do need a Google account in order to use ReCAPTCHA. Most people already have a Google account. So if you've ever used Gmail or YouTube or Google Drive or Google Docs, you already have a Google account. So just be sure that you're signed in to your Google account in your web browser, and then you will be able to follow along with these steps, no problem. Okay, so I'm currently signed in to my Google account, so I'm free to fill out this form. So for the label, it doesn't really matter. We can type anything we want here. I will just type the name of my website, so Learning WordPress, and just to stay organized, I will say Contact Form Page. Again, it doesn't really matter what we type here. It's just for your own organization. And then this field is important. So in this field, I want you to type in or copy and paste in the domain of your WordPress website. So let's use my website as an example. So back in this tab, we can see that my website lives at brads1.sgedu. Remember, I'm using SiteGround for my website, .site. Now the rest of this URL is just specific to the page I'm currently viewing, right? So I'm in the WordPress admin dashboard, etc., etc. But that's not important. Google just wants the domain name, and only this beginning part is the domain. So if you're like me and you're using SiteGround, it will just be yourname.sgedu.site. Or if you're using your own custom .com or .org, we are just interested in the root domain of your website. So I'm going to copy this part of the URL into my clipboard, and then back in the Google ReCAPTCHA tab, I will just paste that into this field. And I'm actually going to remove the http:// at the beginning. And I will also remove the slash at the end. Okay, so now it's literally just my domain. And then go ahead and click this blue register button. All right, perfect. Now from this screen, we are interested in this area. So here we have two things, a site key and a secret key. Now I've blacked out my keys just for security reasons, but you will have your own unique key values here. And now we just need to plug in these key values into the contact form plugin. So right now, within this first one, the site key area, within this box, go ahead and select and copy your site key value, copy it into your clipboard, and then jump back to the browser tab or window where you still have the WordPress admin dashboard open. If you can't remember how I got to this current screen, just look in your left-hand sidebar for Contact, and within the Contact submenu, click on Integration. Okay, and now that we've generated our own ReCAPTCHA keys, we can just go ahead and click on this Configure Keys button. Here we see 2 fields. So the site key should already be in your clipboard. Remember, you just copied it. So go ahead and paste that in. And finally, we just need to enter our secret key. So jump back to the ReCAPTCHA tab. And right here, you should see your secret key value. So select that and then copy it to your clipboard. Then jump back into the WordPress screen and paste it into the secret key field. Once you've done that, then click the Save button. All right, and now we are just one step away from having the CAPTCHA field appear on our contact form. Our final step is to edit the contact form. So in the left-hand sidebar, click on the main top-level contact button. At the moment, we only have the one form, so go ahead and click on that to edit it. And now, within this area, we just need to place our cursor where we want the CAPTCHA field to appear. It's totally up to you, but personally, I'm going to add the CAPTCHA in between the Your Message and the final Submit button. So I will place my cursor right about here. And now we can use these buttons up here and look for one named ReCAPTCHA. So here it is towards the right-hand side, ReCAPTCHA. Go ahead and click on that. Within this pop-up screen, we can leave all of the options set to their default value. And just go ahead and click this Insert Tag button down here. And really, all that did was add a shortcode right here where our cursor was, named ReCAPTCHA. So technically, you could have just typed that in by hand. But either way, with this in place, let's go ahead and save our form. So in the right-hand sidebar, click the blue Save button. And now, if we jump back to the front end of our website and refresh the Contact Us page, if we scroll down a bit, here we see that CAPTCHA field. Now, because I'm currently logged into my Google account in this web browser, the Google ReCAPTCHA service already sort of trusts me. So if I click this I'm not a robot link, it gives me the green success check mark, and it sort of just takes my word for it that I'm not a robot. And again, that's because I'm already signed into my Google account on this browser. However, what if a random stranger visits our website and tries to use our contact form? So I'm currently using Google Chrome as my web browser, but if I open up Mozilla Firefox, so in this browser window, I'm just a random stranger visiting this website. And if I go to the contact page and scroll down, here we see the CAPTCHA field, only this time if I click I'm not a robot, the ReCAPTCHA service is going to make me prove that I'm not a robot. So here we see it gives us a little test or a quiz or a riddle. It says, select all squares with street signs. So I will click this square and then click next. Okay, again, select all squares with street signs. So I will click here, 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 here. You get the idea. And then click verify. Okay, cool. So I passed the test. And now that I passed that test and Google ReCAPTCHA knows that I'm not a spam bot, I'm free to fill out this form and submit it. But if someone comes to our website and tries to fill out the form before completing the ReCAPTCHA test, they will not be able to submit the form. So let's try that really quick. If I refresh this page and scroll down, and if I purposely leave this unchecked and I don't complete the quiz and just fill this out, subject test, message test, and I click send, we see this error message, please verify that you are not a robot. Perfect. So we have successfully protected our contact form from evil spam robots. And that's actually going to bring this lesson and this section on creating a contact page to a close. In our next lesson, we will learn about some of the most important WordPress settings. Customizing WordPress settings will let you create additional user accounts. So in addition to your main admin account, you could create additional accounts for friends or family or coworkers so they can help you manage the website. It should be a lot of fun. Let's keep things rolling, and I will see you in the next lesson.